Welcome back to the tribe here on One Africa TV. For this one, we are going one-on-one with radio, TV personality, columnist and social activist Paula Christoph, aka Princess Paula, from the house of Fresh 102.9 FM. Now, you are known as a voice, a youthful voice, a beautiful, powerful voice on a platform like Fresh, but nobody's really had the opportunity to put a face to it. A lot of people have said, Shay, have you met Paula? Is he colored?
And I get that a lot, actually. A lot of people think that I'm colored because of my accent.
Yeah.
It's very Afrikaans sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's because I was born and raised in the south. I'm from a coastal town, southern coastal town called Luderitz.
Yeah.
Not many people know much about the town. And so I'm hoping that people like myself, Francis Shahama, Tamekanjo, we can just expose
Absolutely.
who we are.
And that's exactly what the tribe is for. So welcome to the platform.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Let's start at the very beginning with you, Paula. You just mentioned that you were born and raised in Luderitz. But tell us about your history of being on air, where we as Namibians were introduced to you. Were you always in love with radio? Was it something that you always wanted to do?
Actually, it was a beautiful coincidence. I would like to call it, because I dropped out of varsity. I went to my sister in Walvis Bay. I wasn't really much into what I was studying, which was public management. And I was just in a phase where I didn't know what to do. But I knew, okay, I had to go to Walvis. My sister was there, first of all.
Yeah.
I would have rent. I would have a roof over my head.
Yeah.
I would have food and all of that. And I knew it was a harbor town. So a job, it wouldn't be that hard. I thought to myself, come on, I've got grade 12. I'm not dumb. My grade 12 certificate looks good. Let me go see if I can even get a job as a receptionist. I stayed for 6 months and nothing. Not even a call back to say, come in for an interview. So as you can imagine, my morale was really low.
Yeah.
And my sister and I, long story short, had a fight. I'm out, bye.
Isn't it always the
and
case?
So, I moved back to Winter to my cousin, and she's the one who told me the very same day, listen, Fresh is looking for presenters. Maybe you should go check it out, because they know my personality.
Yeah.
And she felt like I would fit on a station like that, because at the time she used to listen to it every morning because of cheese.
Yeah.
I went, and honestly, I didn't expect it. I walked out with the job. No voice test, no nothing. Had a conversation and got the job. And I just felt from that moment on, I was meant to be there.
Like, those type of moments are exactly what this universe is made of.
Yeah.
It's like you were in the right place at the right time. Even the fight with your sister happened perfect timing.
The fact that I didn't find a job for six months.
Just so this could happen.
Yes.
Now, you are obviously a big lover of Namibian music, and Fresh FM is also a place where Namibian music has grown over the last few years. Tell us about your fondest memories of local Namibian.
Yeah, so many. You have to understand, I was raised by a single mom. My mom raised me all by herself. I come from a very low income household where everything she had, she spent either on me or my needs or the house. So as a 90s kid, as a millennial woman, growing up in the 90s, we didn't really have much of what you can call our own music, apart from what our parents had, the Jacksons, the Rashi Hamas and stuff like that. So by the early 2000s, when people like Gaza and The Dog came along, and programs like Afro Connection came along, it really just opened our world. When you're from Luderitz, we only speak Afrikaans.
Yeah.
So here you see Stella singing Noshiere Swart Buster from Kavango. Like you were exposed to so many different languages and cultures, and I appreciated that so much, because they don't even know it, but they kept us entertained.
Yeah.
They kept us sane. They kept us informed about what the pop culture is like in different parts of the country, and they taught us languages.
Yeah.
It's simple to many people, but it was everything to a kid like me every Friday.
And it's a Namibian thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just ours.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. I mean, what kind of roles does a platform like what used to be Afro Connections, your radio program, stations like Fresh FM, in the media fraternity, what role do we play in terms of enhancing Namibian music? I mean, what are the things we need to be focusing on in order to groom artists, to give growth to that industry?
I think the role of especially the media and entertainment programs is to connect the people to the arts, to the people to what they need to be exposed to. And because it's everywhere, international music, African music, you can find it everywhere on the net. But we have yet to advance as a nation when it comes to our arts, just exposing ourselves like that, putting ourselves out there, like that.
Yeah.
And so shows like that, presenters, radio stations, when they play these songs and they promote the arts, it really just brings the arts closer to the people. And it reminds them of where we came from, number one, because again, where we came from, the early 2000s, what I was talking about earlier, and where we are now, there's a huge difference. And it's very important to keep track of the progress, so we also don't lose ourselves, because the beginning of what we have now really started with authenticity and an authentic place.
And more hunger at that point.
Yes,
there was so much
the
hunger.
sound, the Damara Punch, it was very authentic. The languages and the music videos, they spoke of our stories. And it's important that we don't move away from that we keep going back.
Absolutely.
So we don't move away from who we are.
But you also have passions for the growth of our society. You're also a social activist, and you have a bi-weekly column in the newspaper. Let's focus on the column first. What kind of topics do you cover when you're talking to Namibians in writing?
Actually, I'm the type of creative who doesn't like to put herself in a box. I've always told myself, not always, but I've recently started telling myself, I don't want to do something a specific way because this is how it's done. I don't want to present a show a certain way because this is how it's always been done. I don't want to talk about something because everybody talks about it. I want to do stuff I really care about. And so I decided, why not a column? Why not? Why not broaden my platform? And so I decided, let me write about stuff that maybe people think about and they don't say it. Let me write about stuff that maybe people don't think about. And let me plant a seed. Because this week, it's crazy, it was last week, where I thought to myself, what is my end game? What do I want by the end of all of this? What is the purpose? And honestly, it's to serve my country, it's to serve my nation. And that sounds all political and like I'm some mayor of some city or a politician of some region, but it's not. I just want to question the status quo. I want people to not just accept what's there. I want us to do and be better. I want us to rethink,
break
to
boundaries.
Go back. Yes. We don't have to accept everything that's put in front of us. And too often we do that. And so my purpose is to start a conversation that's thought-provoking and that could change perception and mindsets. And that's my purpose with that column. But then I've also dedicated my life, I don't know if you saw on social media because we are friends, but I've also dedicated my life to speak up for children without fathers. That is something that's near and dear to my heart because I was that child once. For 10 years of my life, very formative years of my life, my father wasn't there. And I know exactly what that child goes through. Maybe not exactly because every situation is different, but I know because I had those questions of where is he? Why isn't he reaching out? Doesn't he care? And even though my father and I are at a great place right now, it took a lot for us to get here. It took me forgiving him without even being asked for forgiveness. So these are the conversations I want to have with young dads out there because I don't think many people realize how big of a problem absent fatherhood is in this country, in our communities, and the world at large.
Many of our problems start there as children who are missing something. And later on in your adulthood, it's sort of like you didn't learn a few of life skills in order to progress as a human being. But because nobody's having this conversation and people like you are stepping up to the platform to challenge absent fathers, challenge young men today.
Imagine the natural way of life is two people are supposed to instill these morals, these values, these belief systems and everything into you, and you only get half of them. So you go through your whole life with half,
just being
half, and the other
person.
Half is a whole. And just the other day, a simple example I want to make is just the other day we were talking about shoe size. You won't even know how how long your foot will grow if you don't know who your father is. You get what I'm
Can
saying?
you
Something
believe
as
it?
simple as that.
As
It's
simple
who
as
you
that.
are, half
Yeah,
of
just your
you.
genetics, yeah.
Yes,
Just
your
half of you.
genetics. Oh,
Yes.
I don't know, my hips can grow
Yeah.
this big because my dad's
Yeah.
mom looks like this, or
Yeah.
is a size 12 in this family.
Yeah.
So it's so much that you're robbed of as a child, and I feel like people need to talk about it. They need to realize it. They men, because I get attacked a lot when I bring up these
A lot of
issues.
backlash,
And
yeah.
women,
Yeah.
men and women need to acknowledge it's a serious problem. And many come to me and ask, why not absent mothers? But I believe that it's not at the greatest scale as absent fathers.
Yeah.
If you look back to your childhood and you take just 10 friends, cousins, friends, people who grew up close to you, just 10, if everybody does that, and you think who had a father and who didn't, I kid you not, most of the time, the majority did not have a dad,
Yeah.
but the mom was there.
Yeah.
So the problem is not the moms. Yes, you have a few, and you will find
Yes.
those in society
Yeah.
who mess up.
Yeah.
But the fatherhood, the absent fatherhood problem is at a scale that should be unimaginable.
It is.
But it's normal.
It is unimaginable.
Bye. Bye. Bye.